My home is where tobacco grows, and acorn rolls and old oak grows. That's where I'll be tonight, in that old tobacco town. Tobacco town, tobacco town. Think I'll head on down to Tobacco Town.
Fourth episode.
Here we go. Town Country Club.
Yeah, Town Country Club. This will be our Tobacco Days episode.
We definitely want to thank Michael for letting us come up and set up and do this. They got a lot of specials going on up here over the course of the month here.
Sorry, I had a quick look in my pen.
Couple buy 9 get 9 free days. So Mondays and Wednesdays you can come up and buy 9 and get 9 holes free.
Mondays and Wednesdays?
Mondays and Wednesdays.
That's a thing?
It's a thing. It's a pretty good deal. Go out and play, play 18 holes for the price of 9 plus your cart. You got the city tournament coming up on the 14th and 15th. $10,000 hole-in-one prize, so that'd be nice for.
Who won it last year?
I have no idea.
I wonder if Charles is even playing that.
But we figure we might as well give him a little bit here while we're here.
I apologize. I'm a little tired. Today I was at Summerfest all day yesterday, and I didn't get home this morning until 2 a.m. because it was such a mess.
I can't do that. It's too big of a crowd for me.
Yeah, it sucked. I went and saw the Dave Matthews Band, and they usually play at Alpine, but for some reason they played Summerfest this year, so I had to go, of course.
So how many times is this now that you've seen DMB?
We're in the 60s now. Yeah. And getting out of there is just it's a cluster.
Where do they do Summerfest at?
Right downtown Milwaukee. But it's like on the lake.
Okay.
And getting out of there is just a headache, and yesterday was not an exception.
Right. Well, hotter than hell.
Yeah.
Beer's flowing like crazy.
Yeah. The Uber took forever, and that one had a surcharge, of course, because it's Summerfest. And
right.
So you take an Uber to where my car was parked, and then you had to drive from downtown Milwaukee back to Edgerton. And that was an hour and a half, something like that. So I got home at like 2 a.m. and just fell right to sleep. I'm glad I had off today.
I would too. I would too.
When I was writing the agenda for today's episode, I was doing it on the couch, like in and out of naps the whole time. So I'm a little tired today, but I'm glad to be doing this fourth episode. I'm pretty excited. I've been looking forward to this one for a while.
Yeah.
Our Tobacco Days episode, we have Sam and Heather that's going to come on, and Raquel. They're going to discuss kind of what's going on this year, but we also have Casey Langan as our second guest, who's going to kind of go over some of the history of Tobacco Days, the 90s.
I'm excited to hear about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been wanting to do this one for a while. So, did you hit the Tiger game yesterday?
Tiger game was canceled yesterday.
Oh, okay. Standing water?
They were supposed to play in Lake Mills. Game got pushed back to 4, then that storm came through.
Why did I think they were in Jefferson?
I have no idea.
Okay.
But yeah, they were in Lake Mills, and that storm come through, and so, of course, the game got postponed again.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many times this season that they've had rain screw up a Sunday game, and they push it to Tuesday, and it rains, and it gets, they just can't get some of these games in lately, and it's reflected in the standings. I mean, you see some of these teams that have played 12, 13 games, and they're just missing these storms and getting lucky is what they're doing.
Where are we at in the standings right now?
3 and 5. Not sitting the best, but not sitting in a horrible position either, because they've got, they're chasing Cambridge right now.
Yeah.
Cambridge still has a lot of tough games left, and our schedule is much easier the rest of the way out. They do play this week on the 4th at Fort Atkinson, so that'll be
Oh, it's on the 4th?
That's on the 4th at Fort. Ooh. That's always a good time.
Yeah, that's
dollar
fun.
beers in Fort. And then they play a doubleheader Saturday. It's going to be Little League Appreciation Day out in Albion, so they play a doubleheader in Albion on Sunday. Sunday the 8th.
Okay.
I said Saturday. I meant Sunday the 8th.
I was kind of excited.
Yeah, they play. I believe they play Cambridge, and then they come back and play Clinton.
What time do they start Sunday?
12:30.
12:30.
12:30, and then in between the two games, when they're getting the field ready, they'll have all the little leaguers come out and introduce all the teams and coaches and say, thank you to the starter programs for future Albion Tigers.
Yeah.
Kind of fun.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, and hopefully it goes over well and it becomes a fun thing to do, and maybe they just schedule a doubleheader next year with Orford. I keep saying Orfordville. That's where how I know them, but Clinton. Hopefully Clinton loves playing doubleheaders.
Okay.
For whatever reason, they love playing doubleheaders. So schedule a doubleheader with Clinton, and then Little League Appreciation Day.
Okay. So that'd be a big weekend for Albion.
Yeah.
Coming up.
Yeah. And it should be a fun one too. I mean, if the weather's nice and holds up, then people will be out there all day. Party.
Yeah. I think it should be. The weather looks pretty decent all week.
Yeah, it actually doesn't look bad.
Yeah.
Compared to the sweltering heat we just got through.
Sure. So tell me about this band you saw at the Baron.
Randy Cats. The Randy Cats.
Have they been there before?
I have never seen them before, and from what I understand, they're a newer band.
Yeah, I wish Tad were here because then he could.
He's right there.
Oh, there he is. Okay. Yeah, I don't know who they are.
They play all country. Well, no, I shouldn't say all country. They obviously will play some other music, but they learn.
You heard of the Randy Cats? They played at the Baron.
I've heard the name, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if I've ever
old
seen
classic country music and 80s country. It was kind of fun. And then
they bumped us for July 1st or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They brought in Crud played with them yesterday.
Really?
For a couple songs. It was awesome. Ain't That America? They learned. They played it right there on the spot for them.
Right.
And they were so impressed with Crud. They're, I think if they ever play there again, they're going to want him to come down and play with them. But then they also brought Janet Laskowski up to sing a song with them, which was neat. So if you get a chance to see the Randy Cats, go for it.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're into old classic country. I'm a lion again.
Oh, tell us about that. Now, if I recall from the last episode, you weren't sure when.
I wasn't sure.
Again.
So I was down at the pit stop Tuesday after, and Dan Riley and Marcia come in. Rick came in, and Rick's like, hey, what do you think? So when the time's right, and he's like, well, the time's right now. It's free membership.
Oh yeah, okay.
Through, like he was talking about. He's like, I don't know. He's like, join under my presidency. And I'm like, oh, okay. So he gets a bar napkin, takes out a Sharpie, writes a contract on the bar napkin. I, Eric Thompson, will promise to join the Lions Club, blah, 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 on this date. Takes a Sharpie, runs it across my thumb, makes me like thumbprint it to get back in. But I figured, you know what? I've been talking about it for a long time, so why not? They're good people.
So you're back.
I'm back, but I'm not working. I'm not working the festival tomorrow. I'm gonna enjoy one more before I have to start working again.
Yeah. So let's do a quick recap on tomorrow's festival. I know we talked about it, but we can
great
hit
day
it again.
Obviously down at the park, all day down there, the raffles, chicken shit bingo. I'm sure Dan's gonna do chicken shit bingo again. They have yard Jenga for the kids, all the different beanbag toss competition that they want to do, and trying to make it more family oriented throughout the day. The jam sessions, what time does that start, Chad? At 4.
4, okay.
And then heavy petting. And then the fireworks, so it's should be pretty outstanding.
Yeah, I know I'll be down there roughly after the jam gets started. And that starts at 4, like you said, so I'll probably be about 4:30, 5 o'clock, something like that.
I'm trying to figure out what time to actually... I should go down earlier and see some of the older Lions members that may or may not...
Are you off tomorrow?
I'm
Half day.
But it might as well be a half day, so I should get back from Milwaukee about 1 o'clock, and I'm hoping that get a good base in me, because I got a feeling it's gonna be a fun night. So...
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Tucker talked to Jamie Becker.
Okay.
And Becker's bringing in a couple flatbeds for the jam and heavy petting. Nice. So we're going to get those guys elevated. They're not going to be on the ground like they were last year.
Well, that'll be fun.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people will stick around afterwards and then see the music. So
absolutely. And if you win the raffle, spend some money.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Well, I guess we'll take a short break here quick right now, and we'll come back with Sam and Heather.
Beautiful. In Rackle.
Yes. Well, let's just get right into it.
Yeah.
So our first guest this week is Heather, Sam, and Raquel. They're going to be talking about what's going on for Tobacco Days. And I'm sure we've got a lot of questions, so let's just get into it. Before we go on what's going on this year, I want to just talk to you guys about how you got involved. So whoever wants to go first, just let me know what year you got involved and what made you decide, hey, I want to get on the board.
Well, I think I've been doing it about 4 years now. I think this is my 4th year, and got on just because some friends were on it, and they needed some help doing it. It's been kind of lax with people wanting to actually donate time and to really commit to making this festival. And when I heard that and some of my friends were involved, I'm like, hey, let's get some new blood and try to get it going again. And that's really then how I got involved, just to try to help out some friends and also make the town festival a little bit better.
Pretty much same here. Well, no, I mean, we were there and we would help out, and just because it seems like we were at Tobacco Days the entire weekend, so running beer back to the the softball diamonds and whatever, and then 1 year Aaron Johnson, actually, when Aaron and Julie were on it, they said, you guys want to join? And I said, sure, I'll get myself into this. So I think I've been on it for 4 or 5 years as well.
This is my 3rd year with Tobacco Days. I joined because I kept seeing the decline in people every year, and I was one of those people that would complain, like, why don't they do this? Why don't they do this? And I thought, instead of just complaining about it, I'll join the committee and see what's going on. And like they said, you have friends on the committee, and it's just fun to get together with everybody every month and put a festival on that you really want to support and that you want to see grow and grow in this town.
Especially your hometown festival.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So who else is on the board with you guys?
Jamie Brown, Jen Meyer, Brandy Cox,
Stacy Lund,
Candy Lund, Tasha Everly, Catherine Johnson. I hope I'm not missing anybody.
I'm sorry if we are.
I do apologize.
Dustin Rosenbaum used to be on it. He's taken a couple years off just to be with his kids and stuff like that, time-wise and stuff.
And the biggest thing is, we do, everybody there donates time, but it's also the volunteers that we have that we really need. And there's some that have volunteered every year to either be bartenders or sell tickets, wristbands, all that kind of stuff. So we definitely need more of that, and want to thank everybody that ever does it, because without you guys, we couldn't put this on. I mean, there's, I think, 9 or 10 of us now on the committee, but there's no way we would be able to do it without support and help.
But that's quite a crew. I didn't realize the committee was that large.
Mm-hmm. It just grew in the past year, I would say. I think people are starting to realize that we do need help. And it is a time commitment, but it's not a huge time commitment, We meet once a month for an hour and a half or 2 hours.
And sometimes if we're above, ahead of schedule, we skip a month.
Yep, we have skipped a few months.
So,
and we are always looking for new committee members.
Definitely.
So if anybody does want to, join or has ideas or anything, we are always open to new ideas, new blood, new everything to keep this going. Because we do want to keep it going. It's the 47th, but there's been times where there's been talk of it declining enough that we might not have it if we don't have the support and the help. So we definitely want to keep it going. So if anybody is interested, you can always contact us on Facebook or anything like that, and we definitely will take ideas.
Or talk to one of the committee members.
Even for volunteers. I mean, if you don't feel like you have that once a month that you can get together with people, just you can volunteer that weekend. We sell tickets, we sell wristband. I mean, all that stuff. I mean, we need help with. So.
I don't like to put anybody on the spot, but when did you start to notice the decline, or did it get to the point where it was like, this might be the last year we do this, this isn't sustainable anymore?
Right before you?
I feel like it was right before me.
3 or 4 years ago.
I was going to say within the last 5 years is when I started noticing it, but even it seems like every year there's rumors. This is the last year, this is the last year. And as a committee, we hate hearing those rumors because we don't want it to be the last year. We want it to keep going. We're on the committee because we want to see this grow and grow. I mean, this is our we grew up here. This is our town, you know. So we want to see everyone supporting it.
Exactly.
Did it ever get to the point where it was like, I think this will be our last year? Did that ever get to the point?
Well, it definitely got talked about. I would say about 2 years ago, we said if we don't get help or we don't get donations or any of that kind of stuff, it was going to be, we can't do this.
Well, it got talked about being turned over to the city and whatever the city was going to do with it, whether it continued, like as far as like going to City Hall and saying, we can't do it anymore. You know, we don't have the volunteers, we don't have the manpower, we don't have the funds to see what if they would do anything with it. But it never got to. We never had to do that.
And I think we did find out that City Hall, there's nothing that the city would do because this is...
They probably just let it die.
Right. Not by choice, because they got all, enough going on. This is completely ran by volunteers, and I don't think people realize that.
Yeah.
Even all the other events that go on during Tobacco Days is all run by volunteers completely.
I had no idea.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I guess I had an inkling just from my time with the city that most festivals in town, if not all of them, are completely run by volunteers. I mean, there's Edgerton's a very volunteering community, always has been. Just, yeah, I had a little inkling, but not
I
to the
suppose from your insight, you're the former, mayor. So, what's your thing on that? Would there be anything the city would even do, or would they have just let it die?
It's hard to say because my time, I want to say during my time, they had actually changed the name of the festival. To just Heritage Days, which
that was a lot.
Was one of the questions going through my mind. How much impact did that have on the festival that we have now?
Right.
It's. And I don't think it's ever fully recovered from it, but
maybe I'm wrong. Casey might be able to provide insight in this too. But the rumor that I heard, at least, that everybody probably heard, was it Reynolds was the big funder of Tobacco Days for a long time, or there was something like that, and they pulled out once that all happened. We switched it from Tobacco Days to Heritage Days, so we lost a lot of that funding.
Yeah. I don't think the town was not happy about it. I mean, there was mixed feelings, but I think a majority still liked, tobacco. I mean, that's what it's about.
And I'm sorry to the people that are anti-tobacco. Sure. You didn't grow up here, and you don't know the impact that product has had on families in this town and sustaining families in this town, and what work goes into raising that crop. And I'm sorry if you've never done it.
Every time September comes around, I avoid my brother's phone call.
Exactly. So if you've never done it, shut your damn mouth and don't knock somebody else's festival. This is a time where we come together as a community. We don't go knock your community or your festivals or whatnot. I think the biggest challenge that we had when I was mayor was, I think that was also the first time that they had really started proposing the beer fence. And it was a big push to have this fence up to try and contain where the alcohol was going in the park, who was drinking the alcohol, and I understand that you want to keep alcohol out of kids' hands. I understand that. That's a public nightmare, public relations nightmare, public image nightmare.
Well, I drank a handful of times.
We all did. We all did.
I remember that year.
You're not gonna. It doesn't matter how many steps you take to try to prevent it. You're not going to prevent it 100%. And I think those were the challenges that from the city's standpoint, we were facing. It's like, we definitely want the festival. What do we do with this beer fence recommendation?
Right.
And I'm pretty sure
I don't
think we ever did a beer fence up.
When I tell outsiders, like when I was in college and graduate school, all that, and they're like, what are you doing this weekend? I'm like, well, I'm not doing anything because it's Tobacco Days, and I shut my whole entire calendar down. Like, what do you do? Just like smoke cigarettes the whole entire time? No, it's more like a town festival.
It's our
heritage.
Yeah,
it's our history.
I love walking around the park and shaking hands with everybody you see and wishing them, hey, happy Tobacco Days. And you get this big old grin on your face because it's Tobacco Days.
Some of your classmates you only see once a year because it's Tobacco Days.
Right.
I mean,
people come home for this.
Yep.
Right.
And that is the other piece that it is. It brings the community back to what we were. You leave for school, you leave your your families leave and have jobs and they go to other towns, but a lot of it is, you're going to see some people at Tobacco Days and you're excited to be like, I'm going to be able to spend even an hour or two with people, and that's and that does make it worthwhile even for that point of it, to be able to bring the community together like that.
My parents have friends that have moved away long ago but still come back.
That's right.
We have a lot of donations that come from out of town too.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I don't know, because we send those mailers out to the residents of Edgerton. So I honestly think that a lot of the out of town ones are from people that come up here on the weekends and vacation here, and they're supporting our town too. So it means something to them too. It's not just our town; it's the people that have been vacationing here for who knows how many years with their families, and they enjoy it too.
Right. So who's sending out all those mailing lists? Is that you guys?
Well, we pay to have it done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, we don't.
We don't address them all.
We do a lot, but I would really hope we would never have to get to that. But yeah, C&M Printing does them for us in town, and we try to use local businesses for a lot of our, either things that we have to mail out. Reporter does some ads for us. Not for free, but just does our ads, and we try to keep things a lot local as much as we can. Our big supporters, are local people that we try to do.
T-shirts are local.
Yep, T-shirts are local as well.
I think.
Can koozies are local,
So we do try to keep it into that piece. So we are supporting also our businesses in town, as well as they're supporting the festival.
Right.
So,
and that's the way it should be.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the businesses in town, their donations are huge to us. And
Yes.
we need those donations. The only way that we make money is off of beer sales. So,
and just so people, one of the biggest things with donations and everything is people think, well, where's all this money going, or what are you doing? And we don't make a profit to make a profit. We definitely don't pocket any money or do anything. We give back to the community, and we've donated to FFA. We've donated to Edgerton Band. A lot of just the local things that we've done, and we try to do. We can't donate the money back, though, if we don't raise enough money to do it, because we need to put the festival on for the next year. So there have been prior years where we haven't been able to donate to anything because we need to keep that money to keep the festival going. Correct.
Right.
But like this year now we're I don't think it might not get built for this year's festival, but we do the Gaga Ball. Kids love it. I don't know if anybody's heard of it. It's like this. It's like a dodgeball thing in an enclosed area, but it's huge.
It's like a goat pen, kind of. Kind of a goat pen, and they hit the ball up against the I don't know. Kids love it.
Kids love it. It's all in parks and at campgrounds and stuff.
But we donated it
and we did it to gave it to racetrack. We'll hopefully maybe have it built by then, but maybe not. But it's just those things that we try to donate back to our community as well. But again, can't do it unless we also have the support of the community.
Right.
So,
well, let's go right into that. And, let's talk about what's going on this year.
Yeah, well, we do have a lot of activities. We are one of the things that we've heard from community members is that it isn't as family friendly as it used to be, or we try to make it as family friendly as we can. Kids activities, we always have the petting zoo, the pedal tractor pulls. With Lip Sync is on Saturday. That's a huge one for the kids.
Been going on.
Yeah, years.
Big Grill Race.
Yeah.
Big Grill Race.
Where's the Big Grill Race going on?
That's at the, that one is, that's a little
still
early
recovering
for you.
from Friday.
That is actually now we're holding it at racetrack instead. It used to be always up at the high school, but now we're trying to keep things at the park so people don't have to travel or do things. So it's right at
front of the deer pen.
That little section of that they cut off that you can't enter the park how we used to.
Okay.
That's where we hold that.
Right.
I remember when I was a kid, it was downtown.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
By the post
And you got the
office.
free
Or the
Coca-Cola
library.
shirt?
I mean, I went the wrong way.
Yes.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember getting the free Coca-Cola shirts?
Yeah.
No, but I remember being like in front of City Hall or something.
Yep.
Yep.
I remember turning around at that point because I was like going the wrong way.
You were going into the
You probably just kept going in reality. You probably just kept going.
But, when your father's yelling at you.
You got a beer in your hand.
He was probably yelling, "Keep going, Josh. Keep going that way."
Embarrassing me.
Knocker Ball's coming back again this year.
what
What is Knocker?
Oh, Knocker Ball's fun.
Yeah.
I had a highlight right next to it.
Go for it. You want to explain
Yeah,
this
sure.
one?
Knocker Ball's fun. It's a big ball that's blown up with air that has a
a center.
a tunnel inside, essentially, that you put your body into.
It's like got suspenders and then,
and handles.
like a handle, yeah.
And
I
you
know
just
what you're talking about now, yeah.
and you just run into the people around you. I did it the first year, and it was so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun.
And they've come back. They come every day, so they're there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for the kids. And they've given in the past some really good deals.
Yeah.
They come by themselves, so we don't. I mean, we have them there, but they do their own deals on that. But they've really accommodated, so, and the kids love it. It's one of the biggest things for the
absolutely. You
kids.
go around
Yes.
Just
Bomb your
Demolish.
head.
Yeah.
We've had the adults after like their softball league games or after their tournament games. They've gone and as a team go and hit each other and do that. So it's fun for all ages.
Yeah.
So that's always good. And then we also have on Sunday we do the pie eating contest, which has gotten to be really big. Always a big thing on Sunday. And then we also on Saturday, I forgot about it. We have a magician that's coming at 1:30. And last year we had a
Comedian type.
Scientist. Yeah, he was a lot of fun.
And the
too.
kids loved him.
So it is only for an hour, but it's one of the really good things so the kids get kind of entertained and have something
You're catering
else.
more to the family
Yes.
than the kids
Yep.
aspect of it. Great.
So we do have that, and then we always have things for adults as well. As the softball is always going on all weekend for adults,
Yeah.
and then there's the kids and the like high schoolers have games as well. And then we have axe throwing on Sunday, which is always a big
That's huge.
hit on
First
Sunday
action,
afternoon.
you dominate
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
they do.
Yes.
They
Well,
actually
they put
run
it on.
it.
Yep,
They
they
run
put it on
it.
for us,
Yep,
and then
so
run
that's
it.
great.
Hey, I've won it twice.
Yes,
That's true.
yes.
Knockerballs for adults, too.
Correct. True that.
Girls alumni softball. What year is this in now? This
Oh gosh.
6,
Well, I think we started when I was just freshly.
7? Okay, it shows how good my
And
memory.
So
alumni?
Yeah.
I would say
Little ways.
I would say at least 10.
Okay.
At least 10 years,
That's
if
always
not
fun.
more.
Are you going back this year?
I am. I don't know if I'll be able to play though. I broke my ankle, so I have major ligament damage. So I don't know if
I
I'm
know
going
that.
to be
up,
playing.
Sam.
Yeah,
Buck up.
I'm gonna try. Maybe I can get a runner. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I don't move that fast, anyways. So
Yeah, you can find somebody.
yeah.
Softball
Have you ever gone
tournament's
to
been
the,
going on for how many
Yeah,
years?
that's
Oh,
I know the
long
Qualms
time.
have been very
Yes.
Well, it used to be co-ed.
well, yeah, but I
Yes.
mean like since
Yes.
Yep.
since
I used to play
the
in that.
rebirth that I've been around, Dan and Steve.
Yep.
Dan ran it for a while, and then Steve definitely has taken it over the last
Yeah.
umpteen number of
And that's
years.
grown. I mean, that's always filled.
I think Marcus Meyer, Marcus
Yeah,
It goes
Marcus
until
Meyer.
He helps out a lot,
Saturday.
too.
helps out, and
Yeah.
Chris Ames is helping.
Yep, Chris Ames. Yeah.
Is it going till Saturday this year? And
It
Sunday?
always goes. Usually they try to cut it off on Sunday, but it's usually 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
It can be that.
they're always looking for people to help
Yep.
run the scoreboard,
Yeah. Yep.
do books.
Oh yes.
You can always find Linda Quam sitting out underneath, the,
The tent.
running
Yes.
the scoreboard, but she's having surgery this year, so she's not going to be able to be out there the whole time.
Oh.
I feel like Randy Jackson,
Randy
yeah.
Jackson,
Yeah, he's
helps
always
a
on
lot.
that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I know that brings a lot of people into the park.
Yeah.
A lot of people from out of town,
Yeah.
too, which is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's a lot of teams from like Milton, James, well, and far away teams.
Sometimes they get Milwaukee
Yeah, I
teams
was
and
gonna say, they've
Rockford
had-
teams.
They've had some interesting teams there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One other thing also that's newer this year, well, new for this year, is the Arts in the Park is not going to be at Central Park this year, and it's actually going to be a pottery festival and art fair. So they approached us or the city and asked to do it. So we don't have a ton of information, but they are going to have some live music down there from like 10 to 4. They're going to have food vendors. So it's in Central Park still. And so the biggest thing is you always say the guys go to the car show and
Sure.
the women go to that. So there's still opportunity even downtown during the day.
So there is no more craft fair?
There isn't. The Arts in the Park is officially. I believe they moved to Albion.
Yes.
Okay, so
so
but it would be
I
out there.
believe it's supposed to still be the
Don't
same
quote us on
weekend.
that though, because
Yeah.
we're not 100% sure on that.
They weren't. They're a joint effort with us, but they weren't tobacco days in
they weren't?
in regards to that. No.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And people, a lot of people didn't know that. As the car show is also different than tobacco
Right,
days.
yeah.
They run their own thing,
Yep.
but we do tag and have a great partnership with them.
Right.
So that's what
I mean,
is
they're obviously
great.
doing it during tobacco days
Right.
for a reason.
Right.
And then we do want to, this new relationship with the Pottery Festival, we want to kind of grow that too.
Right.
So we want to promote them and, definitely have people go down there that want to. And I know that they were still looking for anybody that wanted to have a vending, be a vendor and want to be there. But it should be interesting. So I think anybody that, is downtown, it's still something to do, even if then during the day you're not into softball or you're not into that, there's something else to do.
Yeah, it's one of the bigger car shows in the area, too.
Oh, yeah.
They get upwards of over 200.
I'm not even a car guy, but for the last 3 years have just gone down there.
It's fun just to walk through there, yeah.
See all those little cars.
Well, and they get there early. Those car guys get there at 6 a.m. to get a good spot.
Oh, yeah.
Down there. So
Yep.
big thanks to all those guys that show up.
It's one of the only times outside of a parade I've ever seen them close that section of the street.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they close a big section
Yeah.
of 2 roads.
I have a main road too.
Yeah.
like a
And I believe
highway.
they have live music down there usually during the car show. Do they
No,
not?
they
or
have.
are
It's
they-
like a band that plays music, and then the
Oh,
guy,
it is. Oh,
a guy,
okay.
like an announcer guy that does a
Yeah.
really good
Okay,
job. And they have
okay.
they have fun little contests down there and
All right.
voting on your favorite cars and raffles. I think they do.
Yep, I think you're right. I think
they do all
yep, I
kinds
think they
of
do
stuff,
raffles.
and they have a lot of a few different churches down there that sell food
Yep.
to make their
Yeah,
make some
I
money
think
that
even
way.
One year I remember seeing Dragon had a little vendor area.
Oh, probably they probably did.
Why not?
Hey, crab rangoons. They always go
Crab
good.
rangoons, yes.
Crab rangoons on a hot day.
One other thing I do want to mention on Sunday is the Albion Tigers game, that this is actually the 3rd annual Wally Olstead Classic.
Yeah.
So that is a huge thing to have them be able to play at racetrack versus out. I mean, I loved them watching them in Albion, but it's really cool that they
Right.
come and support us and we support them and bring a whole crowd of people
You get a lot of
together.
alumni
Yes.
come up for that too.
Correct.
My old man just loves that.
Yes.
He loves putting on that jersey that's way too small for him.
I can't imagine why.
Right. And embarrassing Susie the whole time. And and all of his friends, he's caught on to the same thing. They all found their old jerseys and they all sit in a row.
So the
and
next
they
time
did
we-
something last year too, Lou. I think they took an old team photo.
Yes, they did, yep.
something like
That's
that.
cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have to ask Bob next time we have him on his take on Tobacco Days bratwurst versus the bratwurst in Albion.
Oh,
That's a 3-hour episode.
I understand that, and I'm prepared for that.
Have you ever gone to the fish fry in the Masonic Temple?
No, I haven't.
There's some things throughout the years I've always just kind of wanted to do, like check off, but I have never done that.
I've never done that.
Make this the year
There
to
you
hit
go.
everything up.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to go
It's
rummage
busy.
sailing. We might as
You
well
guys are
stop
going
there.
rummage
I
selling?
go upset every year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
Best-
impressive.
best
There's
parts.
a group
last-
of guys
the
from our
last
class
few
that go
years-
every year.
All right,
Years
all right.
I've grabbed Quinn really early in the morning, 7:30.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you gotta
not
go early.
early.
You gotta go early, but no, that is not early.
Coffee clutch.
Coffee clutch at pit stop
Yep.
first.
Yes,
Then
absolutely.
you start your rummage sailing.
there you go.
Well, lots of great things, guys. Again, you want to talk about something else?
Oh yeah, one last thing is the parade on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Sunday's
huge.
my favorite day.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
Sunday is my
absolutely.
favorite.
Yeah.
Edgerton's
I work every day. I always say I'll work Friday and Saturday, but my Sunday's my day to just
Right.
I'll be
Booze.
there. But no, but the parade last year we had tried to move it back to 11 because some people had wanted to see if we could do it a little earlier, and it really the community just kind of spoke out and said, that's a lot with church and a lot with those kinds of things. So we are moving it back to 11:30, just so that way we, again, heard the community. If you have opinions or have thoughts of how to make things better or have more people involved, we definitely want to hear from you. But that is moving back to 11:30. It's the same route and everything that has been. It's going to be at 11:30 again. So. And our brochures just came out today. Sam just went and picked them up today. So
True story.
we will be distributing them around town, so that way the parade route's on it, all the
I was gonna say,
activities.
yeah, the parade route
Yep.
right there.
And then our big sponsors, our gold sponsors, are also on the back. So there are a few from town. So Two Brothers, the Baron, Edgerton Gear, Wilbur Ellis, Stepanakis Tax Service, New Composite Partners, and then the Car Show, and then 1848 as well. So it definitely, we have other sponsors that we thank wholeheartedly, but wanted to just definitely acknowledge that. So these will be around town probably in the next few days.
Along with buttons, correct?
Buttons will be they're ordered. They'll be here hopefully by the end of the week, early next week.
And
so then they'll be
where
out.
can they get them at?
Probably the drugstore again.
Yep, drugs.
Graham's Insurance always sells them for us. At the park where you buy your beer tickets.
And then T-shirts will also be out, and we've been still working with the pharmacy as well as Piggly Wiggly for the T-shirts. So definitely out and about the next week, hopefully to get it going. It's in less than 3 weeks. Is that what it is? So, yeah.
We should talk about music.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Also, before we go on to music, though, the buttons, you do not have to buy a button to get in the park. It is still free.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
So the buttons are just for your pure enjoyment.
But when did that change again?
That was probably 6 years ago.
Something like that. It wasn't
7
too long
years.
ago, but it was before all of us.
Yep.
And I think that was to raise attendance.
Yes.
Some people didn't want
There was complaints about having to pay to get in the park,
Yeah.
and if I'm just going to watch my son or my relative play one game of softball, how am I? Why
Or
am
if
I
you're in the
doing
Little League
this?
tournament.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think with the donations and everything, that's helped, and we have asked more because of that. But I think the overall community appreciates that more with that. So, but thank you for mentioning the music. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
So,
It was.
That's the best part of the whole weekend.
yeah, okay,
I
good.
looked down here going, man, we haven't even
Gas Can Alley's amazing.
Gas
Gas
Can
Can Alley is.
We had them Saturday afternoon last year. We brought them back for Friday night. They are
Hopefully a better turnout
so
then, 'cause
much
they're
fun.
great.
Yeah, they're so much fun.
They don't stop.
They don't stop.
They
That
literally, they're
stand-up
bouncing
bass
around
is
the whole time.
incredible.
Yes.
If you like rockabilly music,
Yeah.
which I love.
Me too.
Well, they put different spins on it, like they'll
Yes.
cover
Yep.
like Eagles tunes,
Yep.
like bluegrass way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's
They actually
amazing.
have another band too. There's Gas Can Alley, and there's this like suitcase band that they have too,
Oh,
where
really?
it's like just one or two. I think it might be two guys, and they go around and play places too.
But I've also seen Gas Can Alley. Well, you have too, because
Yeah.
you're the one that brought them up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
And I've seen them perform at other places, and they're just,
They're so much fun.
they
Yeah.
floor me every time I see
It
them.
doesn't matter if there's one person in the audience or hundreds of people.
They
It's
perform
a
the same.
good show.
Yeah.
It's a good show. Like everyone's got to come out and see them.
Their shirts are dripping wet when they're done.
Yeah, yeah.
Literally
Yeah.
dripping
Don't
wet.
give them a hug.
No.
No.
So who we got for Saturday?
Saturday afternoon is 2:30, and that's Mad Tatters.
Alrighty, that's
So
Tatters.
yeah, definitely.
Who's
have
that
to-
guy?
Yeah, promote them.
Yep.
Not even listening,
No,
but that's
no,
right.
exactly.
Nope.
And then our Saturday night, starting at 7:30, is the Retrospecs.
I think I know them. Did you hear them?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Where do they come from? Do you remember?
That I don't know.
Yeah.
They're not from around here, and we had never heard of them prior to this, but they play
Well, that's kind of cool. I like that.
everything from
Different.
AC/DC to country
Yep.
to oldies.
Variety is what
I mean,
we want.
it is very, very much variety
Yeah.
that they play.
Did you
Something
guys go
for
see 'em
everybody.
prior to booking them?
Watched a lot of YouTube videos,
okay.
and unfortunately they don't. That's hard watching
Right.
them on that
Right.
to get the real effect of it.
Right.
But definitely a lot of reviews from other people that have said they're really good.
And they
So,
have female and male singers.
Yeah.
Oh, beauty.
yeah.
George's still running the lip sync?
She is,
Georgia's
yeah.
still running the lip sync.
I don't know when
think
she'll
she-
have run.
5 years.
I think she's looking for someone to pick that up, and I don't think
Paulson,
anyone
that's
wants
your
it. Right, right.
It's time. Rack Daddy, it's time.
And then the grand finale on Sunday for music is our. We started it last year. It was a great turnout. The Sounds of
It was
Edgerton.
amazing.
It was.
So-
It was the coolest thing
Yeah.
I have ever seen music-wise in Edgerton.
Yeah.
As far as Edgerton bands together, I mean, obviously I've seen plenty of bands here and I love music, but that was one of my all-time Tobacco Days favorite moments.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That was probably our best turnout on a Sunday we've had in many, many years. And just the talent in Edgerton to focus on not just one or two people, it was great to hear them all together. I know they've been practicing.
I was going to say,
and
last year
doing
they went out on a whim and did it, and it
Yes.
was amazing.
Yep.
This year they've been
Yes.
practicing,
Yes.
so it's only going to be.
Snarky became like the house drummer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, stay up there.
Well, and that was mostly volunteer too,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
a big
Yep,
thing
yep,
that
yep.
all those local musicians came together and volunteered their time
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
for
a really cool
Edgerton,
thing.
for Tobacco Heritage Days like that.
Yep.
You can't. Doesn't get better than that.
It definitely seems like Sundays have picked up over the last couple of years.
Yes.
which is good.
Well, I think Sunday is all our favorite.
Right.
Sunday is like,
And, I think we're forgetting something that
you request Monday off from work.
Yes, take money off, but
Closing
closing ceremony
Yes.
should be on there
Yes.
Sunday night at the Bear.
And that's another one. If you're a local and you've never experienced it, and you graduated from Edgerton, you need to go see that.
Last year, oh my God! Last year was my first year, and
It's so.
I don't want to ruin the. I don't want to ruin the surprise.
Yeah.
It gives me goosebumps.
It
Like
does.
thinking about
It's
it.
just to see all the people from different classes and all singing together.
Oh my gosh.
Loyalty and alma mater. And that's Tobacco Days. To me.
Yes.
And like you said, for the first timers and that, are great. It's so overwhelming.
Oh.
Like just witnessing and like Raquel said last year, like, why have I never done this before?
I didn't know about it. I
Right.
didn't know about it, and now that I know about it, I feel like it's one of those things where you're like, I'm not going to miss this.
Right.
This was, to me, that was like a great part of Tobacco Days, and it is. Everyone just comes together, and everyone's happy, and like it's just good.
It was Jamie's first time last year.
It
too,
might
right?
have been.
It was.
Oh, Brandy's.
Yes.
A long time.
That would start like the old bear.
Yes.
Well, that was a
Yes, it
Swens.
was.
Did we say
That was
Brandy?
Swens.
That was a Swens.
Yeah.
You had Swens and
Yep.
Taiki behind the
Taiki,
bar.
thank you.
Behind
Taiki
the
does her
bar.
cartwheels.
Doing cartwheels.
cartwheels at the old bear.
Throwing back beers.
It's a good time.
So, yeah.
Don't miss out on that.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, again, it's July 20th, 21st, and 22nd. For 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
It'll be
It'll be 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks from Friday.
Come
Get down
support
there.
Edgerton.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, 2 weeks from Friday.
Doofta.
Yeah. Holy cow.
Thanks for coming
Thank
on,
you.
guys.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was fun. We brought Casey Langan on and Tattering on just for the hell of it. And Casey's going to talk about what it was like to be on the board of Tobacco Days in the 90s. So, like I asked them earlier, tell us how you got involved and how your ideas came about.
Yeah, cool.
What year was it?
Thanks, yeah. Well, I think I was born about when Tobacco Days started, early 70s.
Yeah.
And just as a kid, I remember it being a big deal, kind of in its heyday in the 80s. But I wasn't in town a lot for it. I was always showing it at the Dane County Fair and stuff like that. So I missed like a lot of that. But later, it came to be that I got involved, and I just kind of, it's interesting, it started about the same time as Gamekle Kite and Jefferson,
We did that a
Fort
couple
Fest
years ago.
and Fort, and I don't know why all these towns all at once thought, like, have to have a party. Like, everyone kind of had that idea at the same time, and everyone thought about what's our thing, and
Hometown
tobacco.
festival, get everybody together, drink a few beers, and let's go.
Yeah, and tobacco was our thing. So, I was born in early 70s like that. And my grandfather was a tobacco farmer. So, it meant something to me, to the whole idea of Tobacco Heritage Days and Tobacco Days. And but I was telling you that one of the first things I remember is we had the Tobacco Days breakfast at our farm, which I don't think they still do the breakfast, but that was a thing for years, that it was always Wednesday.
I thought there was a breakfast somewhere.
The Farringtons had like the last couple.
Okay.
Yep. But that used to be a thing. So the breakfast was Wednesday morning, and then all the tobacco growers would golf and
I still
drink.
think they golf.
Yeah, I think they do.
I still think they golf.
On Thursday, out of Coachman's, like the execs from tobacco companies come in, and so that would be
that.
Yeah, that would be Thursday, and then the festival got rolling during the weekend.
It's kind of like a conference for tobacco executives.
Yeah.
It's sort of it. Yeah. So
a
there's
bunch of ciggies or cigars.
So the controversy of it all, I remember. Which it's all fun, but there's always been this kind of edge to the whole festival too. And so the year we had the Tobacco Days breakfast out at my grandparents' farm on Highway A was one of the first years that people started to kind of flick. I can swear on this, right?
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
They started flicking shit at Edgerton for having this festival. And I remember as a kid just being kind of freaked out that someone had spray painted Cancer Days on our road, just down the road from the farm. So from an early age, there was something different about this.
What year was that, Ben, you think?
Like 85 or 86.
Somebody came out and sprayed Cancer Days on it?
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
Not from Edgerton,
Right.
obviously, but,
Obviously
someone...
some anti-tobacco.
Yeah.
Sure.
So that kind of stuck out with me. But so how I got involved was So let's fast forward, and it's like 94, and I'm in college, and a friend of mine, Brenda Gilbertson, was picking out the bands with Dr. Ergens. And they were those who were pretty much in charge of picking bands. Yeah, oh yeah. He did a lot. For a lot of years, he booked the bands, especially like the Little Vito era. And
he's a great guy to book bands.
That's the golden age.
That guy knows his music.
That's the golden age of tobacco days.
Yeah.
The Little Vito.
Yes, it is.
And the guy, I don't know if he was the lead singer, but he does the sound now for B&B. They always get B&B sounds, and that guy from Little Vito is at Tobacco Days like every year.
He's
now,
still
which
there.
Is great.
Yeah,
you know,
but they were
a recognizable
the
guy from when you were a kid.
Yes. So Ergens was doing the bands, and but maybe kind of getting sick of it or whatever. I liked bands, and I was young, and my friend Brenda said, "Well, get involved. Like, do you have ideas for a band? Come to a meeting." That's how it started, was just picking bands.
Yeah.
So another friend of mine from town, Annie Last, she was a couple years older than me. We're both in our 20s. So we'd go to like State Fair and Summerfest and see a band we like, and then if we thought it would fly in Edgerton, we'd go up and get their card and book them right away in August, and we'd have our bands for the next year. So that's kind of how I got involved.
How much were bands back then, you think?
I think our budget was about, I want to say it was like $8 or $10,000, which kind of seemed like a lot at the time.
Yeah.
But and people have forgotten this, because we were just talking about this, Luke. For a while, we were staggering bands on Friday and Saturday night. We had 2 stages, so it was still the lower beer tent. And we had one up where you think of stages being, but on the cement. Then another one was down kind of in the gravel closer to the beer tent. And as soon as one would go on break, the other one would start. But we had the budget to book that many that it just...
I don't remember that before.
So this might have been before us, I guess.
Yeah, that it flipped back and forth. So that was cool. So
music is always plenty in that kind of budget. Wow, okay.
So that was cool to have those alternating bands, and so that's
so
kind
throughout
of
the years you guys changed the stage too.
Yeah.
Why was that?
Well, we changed. You mean the beer tent?
The beer tent changed like every other year.
So the change, the reason was, so things were going really good.
The stage changed too, but it's because of the beer tent.
So so things were going really good. A lot of people and selling a lot of beer, and our beer distributor came to us one year after the festival, and he said, at your current layout, you've kind of maxed out. That you've got a ton of people there, but there are a lot of people that won't fight a crowd of 15 to get up to the beer stand. So they're like, you're selling as much beer as you ever will. You've maxed out. And, well, what do we do? And it was his idea. He's like, look at this park. You've got that area up there, that building, that you could close at night, secure the ice, put the loud, cooler semi behind the building so you don't hear it or see it. And if you put your stage at the bottom there, you've kind of got this natural amphitheater effect.
I thought that was the coolest. Yeah.
So we did it, and change is hard. I mean, some people got it, and some people hated it because you're breaking it with tradition, but just looking back, we didn't do it just for the sake of messing with it, for doing it.
Right.
Logistically,
it made sense.
Logistically, it made sense, and it just helped with selling more beer. And you can get into heritage, and a parade is nice, and an art fair is nice, but if you want to pay the bills and you want to get better bands, you got to sell beer.
Yep.
It's beer and bands.
What was the attendance like during those days?
I don't know.
I remember them being huge. Seas of people.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't recall. The 80s, there were tons of people there. The biggest couple stories with big crowds, one having to do with a band, one having to do with a bathroom story that we were just talking about. So the band, one year we got a band called Vince Vance and the Valiants. And it was like a real kind of cheesy show band thing. And he had hair that went like this. It was, and a couple chick backup singers. And And we spent a lot. We spent like $6,000, but we could only get them on Friday night. So we promoted the hell out of this. I mean, the reporter helped us out, but we just made this sound like this was the biggest thing ever to happen because we needed to sell a lot of beer to pay for this. So, a lot was on the line with this band. And so they come and they set up, and it's the amphitheater set up at that point. And when you talk about sea of people, that was the one time, like, I'd gone backstage to like fill up their coolers or something, and I came out from behind and looked up towards the beer stand, and it was almost scary how many people were on that hill. It was like having a house party and too many people showed up. You're like, oh my God, what's going to happen here? That was a sea of people.
These drunk people are just now on an angle.
Right. But the other kind of just anecdote of a big crowd story was same setup. We're in the amphitheater thing. And a female came and said, like, we're having problems flushing toilets. And I'm like, what's going on? And I go over towards the bathrooms, and there's a line damn near to the bottom of the hill of women standing to go. And I think someone told me the water pressure on that hill wasn't keeping up with
flushing.
The flushing. I mean, imagine that many people constantly flushing. So I don't know the number, I don't know what you do next. That's a sign of a good crowd.
If Edwardson would be a sponsor of us, it's been a great time to promote that.
Right. But yeah, so those are like things I remember of like big crowds.
Wow. So other band stories.
So there's a couple funny ones. So we had some really cool bands. Like after the Little Vito, period, we had a few bands that were like the Orphans were really cool. A buddy of mine, Milwaukee, my buddy Dan Farrington just loved them, and we went and saw him in Milwaukee, and so we got them, and they were cool. And like,
so when you guys see a band that you liked there in those days, you would just kind of go up to them where they were playing and be like, hey, we want you to play Tobacco Days. This is what it looks like. And
no, we didn't tell them anything about what it looks like. Like, they don't care what it looks like.
Right,
like this is what we'll pay, and So some had an agent, and some didn't, but I'd get their card and chat them up, and we'd see them in August or July at Summerfest or State Fair, and we'd book them fairly soon to make sure we could get them following year. So we would usually have everything lined up by Christmas. You had to with those bigger bands, so that was fun. But like the Orphans were cool. Speakeasy were a big Milwaukee band. But then there's a couple like other funny things, like Clyde Stubblefield. I don't know if the name means anything.
I know that name.
Yeah, my dad might know.
He's a drummer.
Okay.
And I don't know who he played with famous.
He's like a famous... He's from Madison, right?
He's from Madison, but he's like this old drummer.
Mm-hmm.
Old African-American guy, bluesy R&B drummer. He played Tobacco Days once, but it was under like the weirdest of situations. So we had a country band that was hot at the time called Rochelle and the Red Hot Rattlers, and they were from Madison, and they knew Clyde. Well, they were playing like Sunday afternoon, and it's on schedule. It's like 95 frickin' degrees.
Oh yeah.
And their drummer gets sick. So they call Clyde Stubblefield, who doesn't play country at all.
Nope.
So he rolls into Racetrack Park, and he's in like fringe, and I mean he's dressed like a cowboy out of the 70s, and the whole band is just like
it's the Marlboro Man.
Yes, but like hee-haw,
Yeah.
Oh my God, he rolls in wearing that, and the country band all busts up laughing, He's like, well, I'm playing country. He don't know. Yeah. He don't know. So and it's hot as hell, and you can tell Rochelle's like, hard enough just remembering the lyrics to her songs. Between every song, she'd take a 10-second break, and she'd have to tell him the beat of the next song, because he doesn't know their set list at all. So she'd be like, the next song is da 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 da, And so but he's like a music legend, and he played Tobacco Days, and there he is in the back playing drums, and no one realizes who's there. So Clyde was there.
What year was that, you think?
Like 98, 99.
I'm also
2000.
noticing that they really like bands that were, with alliteration. all the R's and
yeah. So Speakeasy was really good. Eddie Butt's band, they're still around.
Oh yeah, I remember them.
Alliteration.
He was so that's one thing I remember. Like, you talk to other people who've booked him, and another festival told me working with Eddie, I don't know, and they're like, big diva, hard to deal with. And the complete opposite.
Sure.
The nicest guy.
Yeah.
And what I remember about him was after it was over, so people are leaving the park, and those park lights are on, on the baseball field?
Yeah.
And I'm running down from the beer stand with this check to pay him, and I'm like, well, who do I give this to? Well, you got to give it to Eddie, And I look, and he's standing out in the middle of the baseball field, just having a Field of Dreams moment or something. And I run out there, and no, he just was taken back to his Little League days. And his mom would take him to these games. I don't know, but he was just the coolest, nicest guy. So that was that was kind of a fun story that he did that.
There was this really good blues band out at Tobacco Days one year, and my dad bought their CD. I can't remember the name of the band.
Is it
really big in the harmonica?
Oh,
I'm not sure.
They had a band.
I gotta.
They had a blues
ask
band
him.
from Chicago one year that played at Raquel's wedding.
Oh yeah.
That's not the one?
No, this
Okay.
is back in the day. No,
Okay.
this is back in the day because he bought their CD back when people would still listen to CDs.
Right.
But yeah, I'll have to ask him. We'll talk about it on the next pod, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, he bought their CD at Tobacco Days, so that says something.
Right.
I'm still mad, though. There's one name I couldn't come up with, and he was an old rockabilly guy who played with Elvis, and he used to play at the Atwood.
Atwood Fest?
No, a bar on Atwood is
Okay.
where we saw him. And he's an old cowboy. I mean, this old, big barrel-chested gentleman, and he'd get up and just rock. But it was almost kind of Johnny Cash-ish.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that was kind of a gamble. I mean, but we had him one year. It was a Friday night band, and he's and it drives me nuts, I can't think of his name, but that was another cool, really cool act we brought to Edgerton, and that, yeah.
Any controversies with bands? Any bands that were really difficult to work with?
Well, I don't remember. Well, yeah, I think the Boogeymen sweared too much on stage. And it's, in today's day and age, it's a little more coarse. It's hard to imagine that being a big deal, but I remember, getting complaints because the Boogeymen, they were a disco act.
Okay.
And they dropped a few F-bombs, and I heard about that. I can do anything about that after it's been said.
Right.
So that'd be the only
We won't have him back next.
We won't have him back, yeah. But the only, it's not a controversy, but the crazy thing about picking a band, but outside of a local, outside of Dan Riley and Morning Days, and where you can't go wrong, if you were picking anyone else from out of town, it never failed that someone would come up to me and go, "That was the best band I've ever seen in Edgerton." 5 minutes later, "That was the worst band I've ever seen at Tobacco Days." It didn't matter. Music is so subjective.
Well, it totally is. And the thing is with Edgerton is the Edgerton fans really like the hometown boys.
Mm-hmm.
It's you could bring in these great bands that are more talented, but they're "No, we like Morning Days." Okay,
that's cool. Yeah.
That's
Or
fine.
you got a bunch of people that are waiting
love
for
Morning
their
Days
friends
too,
to
but-
say, "Oh yeah, I like." If Tatter was out saying, "Yeah, I really like this band," then all of a sudden there's people going, "Oh yeah, I'll give him a chance now that Tatter likes him." There's so many people like that too that wait for somebody else to tell them, instead of forming their own opinion.
Right.
Yeah, I really like him.
How late did you serve on the board? When did you leave?
like the last year I
grab a
was
beer.
big into it was 03. I helped organize a tobacco-based breakfast. But it was only like from about 95 to 02-ish.
02.
But I went like all in. Like by 97 I was the president, and I was 24, and Ann last was 29.
Yeah.
We were kids.
24, that's got to be a ton of pressure.
Well, it was
If
the
you made it
whole,
through the president.
like I was going to school for public relations.
Oh, it's got a real resume writer at the same time.
Kinda, but and I learned a lot from it just on planning events. But then there's this whole, we'll talk about like the tobacco spitting thing, which I wanted to talk about. So like, I get involved.
We'll get onto that.
Yeah, and so that was like, yeah, it was weird, but there were cool people on the committee that just kind of, I was a local and grandson of a tobacco farmer, and I don't know why they let me do it. I look back now like, who'd listen to this 24-year-old with,
Now he's president.
Yeah, but whatever. It was fun. It was fun.
So there's a history.
But there was pressure. It was like throwing a big party and hoping everyone would come.
Right, and then having to fund it and everything at the same time.
Yeah.
That's got to be stressful. Who were your guys' major funders during those days?
Well, that kind of changed because by the time I got involved, the golden era of the tobacco companies cutting a big check was over. So we were, much like it is now, it was just local businesses sponsoring the parade, and we were, we were making money from the beer stand and bands. It was sustaining itself that way, giving back to the community.
But yeah, like you said, those major tobacco companies.
That was done by the time I was there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's get into some of these events.
Yeah.
Tell us about the wrestling. What year was that? And how did that go down?
So one year we had professional wrestling, and I was at Summerfest last night, and I saw, it might have been the same guys, I don't know, but it was just as cheesy, still on tour. Yeah, it totally made me think of this, but yeah, so I saw it at some fair, or maybe a band promoter had the idea, I don't know, but wrestling was kind of big at the time. Mm-hmm. I wasn't into it, but kids were. And I thought, well, here's something like the kids will watch and the parents will listen to the music and, and buy beer and everyone will have fun. And so I think instead of doing, two bands that night, we just did the wrestling. But
you were saying before, too, that like Friday night is kind of a tougher night.
It was always
to get
tough.
People out there.
Yeah.
So like this is like perfect. Like,
yes. Throwing something different at the wall. Friday night has always been kind of a tough sell. So, but it was funny, like, once again, the 24-year-old with big ideas. Like, I remember sitting at the table with the board. Okay, I got a great idea. Wrestling. And they all looked at me like I had three heads, but they went along with it. So we did it, and we promoted it well, and, all these, there was the one guy was like a rooster, and I mean, it was just super cheesy.
The Wisconsin chicken.
Someone was a little boy in the crowd. Who remembers
Wisconsin chicken?
Yes,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think
he was a
wiki site out there.
He was what do you call it, Jake? Like not a heel, but
babyface.
A good guy or
babyface. Yeah.
Babyface.
That's what we call him.
Okay.
You know that watch
I don't know the wrestling jargon as well as
Oh, I know it.
Well,
I'm writing down Wisconsin chicken. That's what I'm looking at.
It went good, but the funny, it went good. So, like for history, where the new parking lot is there used to be kind of some driveways spinning around there, and we set it up out there. And part of the thing in their big rider, wasn't green M&Ms. It was just you need a place to get dressed, and it's they all show up together in the same van.
Definitely a no-no if you know anything about the biz. The heels and baby faces do not travel together.
No, they can't.
They can't.
I think they did though. They're all friends,
Right.
So they're all friends in real life. And there used to be this building like between those driveways, and I think it was an old restroom, but I don't remember it ever really being used for anything. It was just kind of shuttered.
I kind of remember that.
So we go to the city parks department. We're like, so we need a place for these guys to get dressed not in the men's bathroom. And think about Racetrack Park.
Right.
Your options are kind of limited. Unless we rent a big fancy trailer, camper, which we weren't going to do, what do you do? So we opened up that building, and I don't know. I didn't check it out before. I don't know who did. But I just remember before the deal, going out there like to make sure everything's okay and make sure they have enough water, beer, pop, whatever. And I get in there, and it's like, it might have had a dirt floor in a spot. It's full of cobwebs. I mean, it was kind of embarrassing. And I'm like, oh, dude, I'm sorry, you know. I'm sorry. And he's like, oh, we've been in worse. And that's all I remember. They didn't care. We've been in worse. But that was a one-time thing, the wrestling.
How much was the wrestling?
It wasn't that much. It was like $1,500 or $2,000. You know, it was
These guys
like
didn't get a good payday.
No, they didn't.
Didn't Nelson Young have to like go out and like help set up the ring?
Yes.
Awesome.
You remember more about this
because my dad
wrestling shit
worked
than I
down
do.
there.
Yes, they did.
I remember going out there with Paulson, obviously.
Absolutely.
Very excited about the wrestling.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Paulson, I'll check out the wrestling with you. Yeah, my dad worked out Nelson Young. He's like, yeah, the boys had to go out there this afternoon to help set up the ring.
Yeah.
What year was this? Do you remember?
Late 90s.
It was probably like 02, 03.
No, that's too late.
You think so?
Yeah, because I was still involved. That was beyond my
I wanted to
time.
say I was in high school. I thought I was like probably sneaking around drinking or smoking or something.
It would have been like 2000, 2001.
But you were middle school.
No, that didn't start that early.
Well, Lord knows I did. So where were they from? And how did you find them? How do you book them?
Yeah.
I think they had like the same agent as a band.
Okay.
Or I was working at the Fort Atkinson newspaper at that point, and that might have been where I found them. Like they were either at Fort Fest or the Jefferson County Fair, and I just thought, oh, here, this is something for Tobacco Days. And I just got their guy, got the card through that.
Every once in a while you get to see the midget wrestling down at Anchor.
Yeah. That was a few years ago, actually.
Oh, they just had it not too long.
Do you remember what they were called?
No.
Damn it.
No.
That would have been great.
No.
Okay, we'll move on to the wrestling. Carry your wife contest.
Yeah. So I spent the summer of '95 in Finland with a buddy who was an exchange student here in Edgerton. So when I was there, I was kind of new on the Tobacco Days committee, and so I'm spending the summer in Finland, and I'm going to get back right before Tobacco Days. But I asked people there, like, what do you guys do for fun at Tobacco Days?
Right.
At festivals. And it's kind of, it isn't a local thing. It's kind of all over the country. It was Carry Your Wife contest. So we did a variation of it here. In Finland, they take it super serious, and there's a skill to, like, I think you, like, lift her up over your shoulder, and she has her head by your back and kind of, like, puts her arms around your waist.
Leverage.
Yeah,
Okay.
and if we didn't do this in Edgerton, but the winning couple, they weigh the wife right there on the spot in front of everyone, and you win her weight in beer.
So like,
there's some festival that's
so like
doing
130
It's
liters.
like
I just saw it.
Okay.
It's like up in Monona or Middleton
You
or
win
something
her
like
weight
that.
in beer.
Yeah.
And
So if my wife's 120
in ounces or-
pounds.
You're winning that much.
that-
Pounds of beer? I mean, you can't measure
That-
beer in pounds,
right.
Liters? Ounces? Liters?
Ounces to pounds.
Yeah, sure you could do that.
Sure.
Or just win 128 beers and
How does that even work?
Hey, buddy.
You think? Like just over the next 2 years, you have this much.
Yeah. So the same guy that thought wrestling would be cool is like, hey, let's do a
do this.
Carry Your Wife contest. So we did it with, and we didn't really, I didn't tell people how to, do it. Like, so some just
As you should
did
not.
piggyback and,
Right. Hop on, honey.
yeah, but we had enough couples to do it.
Yeah.
The mistake was there were hurdles in Finland, so we put out hay bales, which was not smart. Like the liability was just, I mean, how no one
Shout out the
broke a
liability.
back or a neck that day.
Obstacles are a bad idea.
It was a bad idea, yeah. but no one got seriously hurt. So we did that one year, and we had enough. I don't know why we didn't do it the next year. I think I was just busy with other stuff running the festival that, like, I'm booking myself too thick on Sunday afternoon, and that didn't stick. But that was a one-time thing. Carry your wife.
And this is the one time where a man goes, honey, I want you to put on another 15 pounds. That's another
I can handle
That's
it.
another 2 beers.
Training.
Another 2 beers.
Do you remember any husband and wife couples that did it that we would know?
I think like a Wellnuts couple did it.
Okay,
That makes sense.
And there was it was on the front page of the Reporter. I remember they got a picture of that. But I don't remember, it was either 96, 97, or 98. It was probably 96, the year after I came back from Finland, that it was fresh in the head. And so 96 was a big year, because that was the 25th.
Okay.
So we were kind of like throwing out all the stops, and being young, I didn't remember, like I'd never seen the spitting contest and I'd never seen the axe throwing. But that stuff had gone away. That hadn't been done for a number of years. And when you told people you were on the committee, that's just all I ever heard. It's like, God, I wish they'd bring back the axe throwing. I wish they'd bring back the spitting contest. So, when you're 23, you're like, why not? I'm just too naive to
Can't be that hard.
worry about it.
Yeah.
Well, just do it, So the axe throwing, so we brought both back, and that was cool. It got people fired up. Kind of the old Tobacco Days was back, and it was the 25th, and so we wanted to pay homage to the past. So the axe throwing came back, and we did it way out by the Conservation Club. We do it by the baseball. Well, they still do it by the baseball diamonds now.
Yeah.
But we did it in this big open area. I mean, I didn't know any better, and I just told everyone to kind of, all right, stay back here, and then you have the axe thrower come out and shoot towards those trees, and we'll measure. And I'm not kidding. The first guy, and he was really young. You had to be 18 to throw, but I think he just turned 18. I mean, first guy gets up, throws it, and it is just this wild throw. And I had I borrowed the tobacco axes from my grandparents and put duct tape around the blades. His first throw goes right into the crowd. I mean, and I'm guessing I turned about the color of his T-shirt,
How? What
I don't know. He just threw it crazy, and it just flew into a crowd of people. And I was like,
oh, God.
This is over before it started,
Wow.
And it hit it wasn't the blade, it was the wooden part, hit some
Thank God.
teenage boy, and he said he was okay, and, and I'm trying to, run this thing, and, okay, you're okay, all right, next, no. And then the guy's, standing there, freaked out, and his buddy's like, doesn't he get 2 throws? And I'm like, you're done, moving on.
You can't throw straight.
DQ'd.
Yeah.
You're DQ'd.
So,
you hit somebody with the tobacco axe, you're done.
You're done.
For the day.
Can't stress that enough.
You're not kicked out of the park.
You don't have to go
You can
home.
stay, but you're done with the axe for the day.
This is a bad idea.
So we moved it to the ball diamonds, and that's why.
Yeah.
And I'm glad the First South family has
Taking it over?
and it's still going, but it came back in 96 for the 25th, so that's cool.
When did it start again, you think? I mean, was it always been going on since 96?
I think the First South, since I kind of passed the torch to them, passed the axe to them, they've been doing it ever since.
Okay.
I
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Spitting contest.
So that was the other thing we brought back in '96, and
Got to get your form down for this.
so
Another intense training session.
we put it on the schedule, and I just kind of put it in the same category as the axe throwing, we're bringing this old stuff back, and a TV station picked up on it, or someone asked an anti-tobacco group what they thought of it, and boom, there's your controversy, there's your story, there's the advocate picking on this small town. So I forget just where the first story hit, but it blew up. So I'm working at the Fort Atkinson newspaper, and they, I'm the PR student or guy, and we got calls from like New York Times, Washington Post, and being a public relations student, before that, it was insane, like fielding those calls, and just in my youthful naivety, I do those interviews like right on the spot and say dumb stuff, like I wasn't well trained for this thing.
Right.
And so this story just blew up.
Why though? What would the controversy be?
They just thought it glamorized the use of the product. And, I would kind of use the talking point that that's being overly politically correct, and this is our heritage, and no one seeing this contest is really going to make a kid want to start. Like, it is not that.
Probably just the opposite.
It's probably, it's a little.
Movies, TV shows, all that stuff. All that's,
So explain the contest.
Well, so, but I just, at the time, just on the PR thing, I thought, well, any press is good press. I mean, who cares? if someone from the New York Times wants to call, we'll talk to them. Maybe it'll get more people in the gate at racetrack. Yeah. What do we have to lose? So there were people in town who were upset that it drew, like we'd taken a few steps back, that it was drawing negative attention to the town and to the festival, and I get that. At the time, though, I was just kind of like, riding a roller coaster and seeing where it went. So we did, the day shows up, and the tobacco companies bring a bunch of chew, and I think my Uncle Dan Riley did the announcing, and I'd never seen it happen before.
Do you remember
briefly seeing it?
I remember seeing it as a kid, and like everybody had their different
technique.
Yeah, technique. And Tim Tronson, I'm pretty sure it was Tim Tronson, had like this like makeshift towel mop, and he'd clean up the chew spit
because we had
in between.
Happy to do it too.
They're like, we're gonna raffle off that mop at the end of the contest here.
Tim Tronson and Rick Olstead were our cleanup crew because we had to, and I didn't know how this was going to work, but we had to clean off this tarp in between each spit so we could see how far each one, and I don't remember who won that one.
I think that was in like 99 or 98 or something when I
saw
it.
We continued doing it.
I want to say Jesse Apple or Nanstead did it or something.
So it's continued.
Like your brother's grade.
Yeah.
So I think that was the only time I remember it.
Whose idea was the cow bingo?
Oh, Bossy Bingo?
Bossy Bingo,
FFA alumni
has
done that. Yep.
Are we doing that this year? Is that still
Chad, are they still doing the Bossy Bingo?
They did like a while ago, but I don't know if they still are now. Because it got too hot, and then with
PETA.
The livestock.
Now they're getting in the way.
Stupid fuckers. Stay out of our business.
Well, then we were doing chicken bingo because it evidently wasn't as mean. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I can take the heat.
So the spitting did, the one other weird thing about the spitting, so it has happened in the years since, but it came back in 96. So the year after, we were a little gung-shy, because the publicity was kind of fun, but the reality was when you're trying to the small group of people that always runs this festival, it is a little distracting when you're spending all this time on this one little thing and you're dealing with TV crews and potential protesters, and it's not fun. So we were a little gung-shy the next year, 97. So we did we thought we would be kind of tongue-in-cheek, and we did a watermelon seed spitting contest.
Oh, okay.
Which I thought would get more news press. Right? Like, that's an easy sell. Like, oh, they're still spitting in Edgerton, but it's something different. And no one came to do it. So it's like me and a TV crew, taking video of the watermelon uncut. which was funny, like I didn't care, but it didn't happen. Like people were going to spit tobacco, and that was it. Not watermelon seed.
I don't care about watermelon.
So that was another event that happened, but didn't happen. Like that, sort of strange chapter in the festivals, the watermelon seed.
Could there have been a secret tobacco spitting contest
Well, there has
going
been
on?
since.
Okay.
They have.
It's kind of like the closing ceremony.
I've heard rumors about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you need an invitation or a secret knock or something like that. Like maybe it's
That's just a conspiracy theory.
We don't do that.
Going on for years.
I think it's been left off the schedule certain years, and it happens. And it all goes off.
This year it's coming back.
It's not fun.
Whoa!
There you go. You gotta find it, though.
Do it.
It's back.
Tobacco spitting contest is back.
We forgot to bring that up earlier.
Where is it going to take place?
They forgot to bring it
On the
up.
ground. It won't be much of a secret.
They forgot.
Not a secret this year.
It's not on
It's
the
coming
schedule.
back.
Not on the schedule.
Okay, so
this isn't going to get out.
Here's
in
a
time
question
for them to get
Do
all
you
over
have
yet.
to do Redman, or can you spit Can you do a pouch? Can you do a long cut?
A pouch?
snuff? What are you gonna like?
How would you spit a pouch?
Well,
It's juice.
yeah,
I
it's
was
juice.
gonna say,
So
how far the
does
juice
everybody
went?
have to chew the same tobacco?
I don't know.
I think it's
I
probably.
think
the
we
leaf.
provided it.
Yeah, I think it's all the leaf. The leaf
Mayo
tobacco.
pouch, red
Like
man,
Wally
Chattanooga
Olstead brought it.
Chew.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the year it was on
Red Man
TV.
Gold Blend.
Wally Olstead did an interview, who's a good family friend, and I did one, and Dan Riley, my uncle, did it. It was funny, and then they had some chick from Madison who was anti-tobacco saying, "Well, they're making it look glamorous." Like, oh, that's pretty glamorous, So that was the story.
The winner of the tobacco spitting contest is like the king of tobacco days.
Yeah.
Like, that guy's getting laid tonight.
Oh yeah, he's definitely. He's definitely getting fucked that night, I'm sure.
God, that guy is so dreamy. Look at his truck. Look at the tires on that guy's truck.
Teeth.
So did you guys actually have protesters out there?
There was this one kind of crazy lady who would show up, and she was...
Anybody?
But I think she was like pro-tobacco. And she didn't think we were being hardcore enough. Like, she was there to pick a fight in case that woman on the news from Madison showed up. It was weird. She would show up and it just, want to talk politics with us all day. And I'm like, I got to go make sure they got ice in the beer tent. Like, I don't care, It was interesting, It was a good experience. And, it's fun. It's coming back, and all the power to you. Good luck. Good luck.
I'm scared now listening to you.
Your beer
It was
vendors
crazy.
over the years, who were they? Your beer vendors. Was it always like Miller Lite and Bud Light? Or?
Festivals sort of like the beer companies kind of would fall out of favor with festivals. Like sometimes they'd come in big time and want to do a lot for you. And one year we picked. One year, it was either Miller or Bud, obviously, came and said they'd give us a ton of money if we went exclusive. And so we kind of tried to counter that. And then the other side was like,
You can have them.
do whatever you want. And it was enough money that it was almost worth the complaints from whether it be Miller or Bud drinkers who couldn't get their thing. Or when you're trying to pay the bills and stuff, we couldn't say no to the one side. So, but I think just my understanding on that is beer companies sort of get hot and cold with festivals.
Sure.
Well, and at some point, you finally do succumb to. Like when I was with Chili Mania, they were exclusive Miller products for a long time, and it was, we got to find something else that people can drink because these Bud drinkers are not going to drink Miller Lite. Yeah. And you're going to hurt your beer sales. It doesn't matter how much money they're giving you.
Right.
You're losing out.
Like
as much as
you're
making in, you're losing out on a bunch of beer
Chili Mania
sales.
was Budweiser this year.
Was it exclusive?
I think so.
I wasn't there.
Because you could only get Bud Light, Budweiser, and Busch Light, I think.
But I know for a while we had serious discussions about we can't have just an exclusive, and of course that was 10 years ago, but
Well, I heard about it
yeah.
when
Oh,
we
I'm sure
went
you
to
did.
one side.
Oh,
I think
bet.
like even my Uncle Buck brought a cooler of what he wanted to drink because it was not.
That's-
It does happen.
Oh, are we
It was-
talking because it's
I-
like either Bud Light
Yeah,
or
yeah,
I
yeah.
Bud
remember,
Light.
my old man was the same way. He'd bring, well, you're never going to get this at a festival, but he would bring his old Milwaukee to Tobacco Days in a separate cooler off to the side.
Well, and people still do today. I
Oh.
mean, the softball tournament is basically like,
Yeah.
what are you going to do? I mean, you can't
But it's
really...
nice having beer cart people down
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Well, that's a good idea. You know, just
Yeah.
people just driving up and down. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Multiple areas to get beer is always good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you want to touch on Wally Olsen at all?
Yeah, so there's two people I think of, like, you know, who've both passed, and they're kind of, in some ways, the father and mother at Tobacco
Yep.
Days. I think of Wally Olstead and Judy Nelson, and both were, you know, really cool people that I was lucky to know. Wally, a lot of people think of Albion Tigers with him.
Yeah.
But, like, he's truly Tobacco Days. I mean, he was growing, like, 50-some acres of tobacco in the 80s. Now,
Yeah.
my family grew 14, and that felt like 13 too many. I mean, he was growing 50-some acres. Everyone worked on his farm at some
Oh,
point,
yeah, I
pulling
did.
plants and
Handful of
harvesting.
times,
Yeah.
yep.
That was the one time I worked on tobacco, was at his...
That was the first time I did. Well, yeah, one of the first times I did. When I was
They
a little
haven't asked
kid.
me back. Which is okay.
Yeah, which is fine.
So he hosted the first. Well, they had like a breakfast, I think, at the community center the first few years. But then Wally's idea was like, we got to get this out to a farm, like much like dairy breakfasts. We've got to get this on a farm. So he hosted it at his farm out on Highway X. And then after that, he found, you know, strong-armed local farmers to host it on their farms. But he took care of that for years. So then it was 03, 02, something like that, in that time period. So Wally got Jimmy Wallman, Crazy Acres, to host it.
Yeah.
You know, the biggest farm in Edgerton. Wally went out and got Orion Samuelson, who is, for listeners who don't know, he's the voice of agriculture in the Midwest. He's WGN, I think, in Chicago, the Big O. He's, you know, a highly sought-off speaker. So he got him. And then Wally was diagnosed with cancer that winter. And, you know, he was, you know, slowly succumbing to that through that spring. And everything was scheduled. And it was just like the weirdest thing, the way it all went down, because Wally was kind of like larger than life. Mm-hmm. And, you know, with Albion Tigers, you know, people said, like, people loved to hate him, they hated to love him. You know what I mean? He was just one of those unique people in life. And so he organizes this thing, and he's getting more and more ill, and then he's in the hospital. And it's like, is Wally going to make it? Is he going to get out to, you know, whether it's all he wanted to do at the end was get there and get to this thing that he made happen all those years. And it was the craziest thing, because so I share some, you know, family with him, and the breakfast started at the Wildman Farm at 8 a.m. Wally died in the hospital at 8 a.m. It was almost like he thought, well, if I can't make it, you know, I'm checking out. It was crazy. And his grandson Bjorn Olstead, my cousin, had just found out and showed up there and had to accept this award for Wally. And that's where we all found out, was at this huge gathering that he did. So, you know, Wally passes and Tobacco Days comes and goes, and Bjorn and I were like, well, this can't end just because no one picked up the torch from Wally. So it was cool. The next year, Bjorn's got the home farm now where that first breakfast was, so we organized one back there at that original site and brought it home kind of as homage to Wally. So he's one of the people I always think of with Tobacco Days. So if he's the father, Judy Nelson was the mother. And Judy, you know, was just the epitome of a community volunteer. And for someone who, like, you know, the story was they were sitting around having coffee in town and like, we got to get something going in town. We got to have a party. We got to drum up business for town. What are we known for? Well, tobacco, and hence it was born. But she stayed with it for so many years. And she was like my biggest advocate. All my crazy ideas, you know, wife carrying, spitting,
Yeah.
you know,
Wrestling.
She was always my biggest fan. And I know there were people who kind of maybe thought she was trying to run it the old way or keep it her, but she was always like, for us young bucks, like, and that's a sign of a good leader, someone who lets you do your thing. And so it'll be weird without her there, you know, like it really will. It's strange, you know, to think of her not around, but
she passed the same day Rusty did.
yes,
she did.
She did. Her, Kevin North, and Rusty all passed on the same day.
January 24th.
Yep.
and I got like texts that night, like within an hour. 3 texts.
That was a bad day.
It was a bad things happen in threes.
They do. But I was lucky enough to serve with her on council. And she, like you said, she was a great mentor. She'd always, like, if you were being young, had a goofy idea, she might pull you aside and say, I understand you're enthusiastic about this. There's a different way to approach it to get people on board with you with stuff like that. Wouldn't, run you down for having an idea, but would definitely mentor how you approach that idea and got it to go.
Sure.
And then Sunday afternoons, when the band started up on Sunday afternoons, local bands, it was always one of my favorite things to do was to sit with Judy. The beer I got to have with her during tobacco days, treasure that memory for the rest of my life. It was every single year on Sunday we'd sit there and at least bullshit for a good half hour, 45 minutes, just talking about tobacco days, talking about how great the crowd was, and how beautiful of a day it was. It could be raining out, but it was still beautiful because it was tobacco days, and we're up there drinking beer and listening to local bands and Dan Riley and.
So I kind of got a good idea that just popped in my head. Let's just do a quick round table of some of our favorite tobacco days moments, if you can pinpoint it. Starting with Thompson.
I've got a couple of them.
Of course.
I loved Saturday afternoons when my classmates and I would get together and we'd go out to like Andy Learn's. The one year Brennan Ziegler brought down some of the guys he played football with.
Oh, yeah. And McGlenn would do that as well.
McGlenn would do that too, yep. And so this one year we happened to be down there and I forgot I had to turn it on. Shut up. But we've been out there playing basketball.
My phone is on
custom ringtone too.
Yeah. We were out there playing basketball at Learns, and the guy that I was playing basketball with was this guy, I believe his name was Ryan Melander.
Yeah, I know Melander.
But, so we decided we were going to go from Learns' house out to another party somewhere, and he and I gave him a koozie and had a zip tie across the top of it. He thought it was the coolest thing in the world. So we've been talking about how much I hate Minnesota Vikings and their most of their fan base. I mean, there's some Viking fans I can tolerate, but for the most part, I don't like their fan base. So I'm telling him about this, and he just looked staring at me. I'm like, what? I played for the Vikings. Okay. But that night, Ziegler just got completely shit-faced. I think we ended up having to take him to the hospital or had to take somebody in our group to the hospital because they fell down the hill. So that was a great moment.
He points at me. They fell down that hill.
Right.
Well, you moved the beer stand.
And then
it's your fault.
Somebody falls
decided
down,
to put the music at the bottom of the hill.
Definitely sitting around Judy every year. That's a highlight every year. And then last year, I think top 5 ultimate moment in Tobacco Days history was when Sounds of Music came out. Sounds of Edgerton came out, and that was just unbelievable.
It was magic.
It was pure magic. It was heavenly. Yeah, those are my favorite moments.
Casey?
One year we had I forgot about this, the Sheer Lumberjack show where they rolled on logs and stuff.
Cool. And I remember that.
And then at the end of the day, to like empty the pool, the fire department just like emptied it and like shot it straight up in the air. And at this point, the festival's gone great. It's 100 degrees. I'm probably like 10 beers in, I'm sure I have some form of heat stroke or something, but it was like so cool. Like it was, the sun was shining, this water was spraying, all these kids are like running in the water, like everyone's having fun.
Yeah.
Like I was about ready to like laugh or cry, like the heat was getting to me, like it was such a cool moment.
Yeah.
And then the other one is, one year I was the last person at the park. So, like, I think the cops had left. The food vendors had left.
That's a
and like, I'm standing up at the beer area, and it's, the park's a mess. But it's like, all these people were here having fun, seeing old friends.
Yeah.
And, a small group of people.
And I facilitated.
Made that happen.
And
that's so cool. And I was the last one there to go home, and the park's just dead silent. It had been rocking an hour or two before. That'll always stick with me.
There was an article I read a couple of years ago, and it's not comparable, but it's like, I think it was the last guy at Woodstock. Like, he wrote up an entire thing because he was the last person that left that day, and he had a bunch of insight on all the garbage. But, as you said, a few hours prior than that, Jimi Hendrix was opening up as the sun was coming up, but...
That's cool. I think about parties like that a lot. It doesn't matter, like, the size, even, like, in college, or, like, if you host a party and it's just, like, the room is packed and then everyone's gone. It's just like, it's such a different moment. You're just like, God, there were so many people here now, and it was 20 minutes ago, and now everyone's gone. It's just, that is a really cool, cool thing.
It just popped in my head when he was telling about other events just now, but we didn't talk about the helicopter ride.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up too. That popped in my head at the same time. Yeah,
we'll get back on the stories in a second. But did you have anything to do with the helicopter?
Yeah, we did. That was that same late '90s period, and I don't remember the details. Like, it just sort of, we just found the guy, and it just worked. And I don't know why we didn't bring him back. Like, but it was cool.
I never did it.
I didn't either. I was too afraid.
I wasn't afraid. I don't think my parents wanted to get me.
It was probably $20.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, I think it was only $20.
Oh.
10-minute ride or something like that.
Did it go around Edgerton?
Yeah.
It went to like Lake Koshkonong, I think, and back, and like kind of around Edgerton.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Cool. Yeah, I mean,
that's awesome.
Yeah, like now I would definitely do that.
Yeah,
but back then I was too afraid.
Yeah.
So he's from Madison, and you
I
guys
think so.
hired him, and
One year there were. One year, do you remember the people that skydived? And like they landed on the baseball field.
Yeah.
I remember that. Wow.
But all that stuff was just like
a Friday night.
Crazy one-offs that someone knew someone, and
that's so
like,
cool.
let's do it.
I mean, you don't have that
Think of
random
how many
stuff
crazy
anymore.
runoffs
Like
there are.
Yeah.
Think of all that.
Yeah.
Just shooting out ideas, but those are creating memories at the same time.
Yeah.
Sure.
You're like, do you remember when they had the helicopter rides? Do you remember when they skydived in? That's awesome.
Even Sundays were a hit back then. They had the pie eating contest. They had a lot of stuff for kids back
like
then
said,
too. Like they had are they good?
That's what Sam and Heather and Raquel were talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. Favorite moment.
There's so many good times, especially like in college when we were old enough to drink out there. And like all of our friends would come out. I remember like you had a big party out at your house, and we had a bonfire like afterwards and whatnot. We always, make a point to go to the park, and that time was great. Yeah, back in like right when you stepped away, like we were still like embracing, like we get to go out there and hang out with, and actually drink legally, and like that was. So I'll always remember that. But as Eric said before, last year the Sounds of Edgerton, getting to play with Mooring Days and Crut and Carey and all the old guys, and being a part of that too, like you said, it was magic, and being on stage is even a different level. It's like it was so much fun, and I hope this year it turns out the same. And I'm kind of in charge of that this year, so we kind of partially my fault. Mooring Days is not going to be involved. I guess they're booked, but I'm trying to get Toad Liquor to have a reunion. All those guys are from Edgerton, and they were a very popular band, you know. So, and Dan is going to be there, and Toad Liquor's front man, Dan Witt, his kid has a band in town too, and the other two guys are from Edgerton as well. So I'm trying to get like the new young band, 18, 16, and 17-year-olds out there. So just a different flavor. But yeah, like I said, I mean, I'll always remember the past tobacco days and the parade. My parent, the parade goes right past my house, so it's like everybody, you see everybody on the parade. That's always such a great feeling. Sunday of tobacco days, like waking up, like, oh, we get to do it again today. Like Sundays are the greatest. At the Burrows being right there, and Nick lived there, and Brad Frickenberg lived in Nick's house there for a while. Like, that was great. And so,
did you guys play?
We played
at the parade at Nick's.
Yeah, we played at Nick's one year. We played at Two Brothers one year, and I think that's about. Oh, one time we played in my mom and dad's garage. And that was me, Leif Thronson, Chris Hart, and Matt Carruthers. Back, like, that was our first
early day.
That was our very first jam band together, and that was a lot of fun. I remember that year too. We went out to Albion because Albion used to play. That was a big.
I was just thinking about
that. Was always a huge Sunday part too.
You'd go out to Albion and play, and I remember one year. They
played Utica.
God, it was Utica, and they always started at 2:00 because of the parade. And then there was one year, I'm trying to remember the kid's name, but he brought a goat because it was Swence's and I's idea to bring a live goat out to Albion in honor of Nanstead. Take it out in the middle of center field during the 7th inning stretch. Barely able to even walk at this point.
Right.
Probably hot.
Oh God, I'm just starting to think of other memories.
Yeah.
That
I forgot about.
But that was the thing. That was the thing there for a while. Was like, you got to go to the Albion game, and it's always packed. And then you go see Dan Riley, and he closes it down, and then you go to the Baron, or it's been the Decoy, and Dan Riley does the toast. Like that. Cool. That's a big memory. I mean, you'll never forget that. That's like, that gives you goosebumps. Singing the
Alma Mater.
The fight song and the Alma Mater. And like last year, Dan was up there like just.
Yeah, he killed it.
Sam Higbee was like, Tatter, you might have to take over for this at some point, because I thought Dan was going to have a heart attack. He was just into it last year.
Yeah.
Because I think it was just after that Sounds Edgerton. That was, like you said, it was magical. Like, that was so cool.
So many people now that are showing up every year to the Baron for closing ceremonies.
Yeah.
That have never experienced it. Like we were talking with them earlier, the first time.
Well, like when Raquel never went to it. Yeah, and then she went to it.
Just the first
even
time
from people out of town. Like,
yeah,
I have been there and like, wow, that's pretty cool. That like this town.
That doesn't happen everywhere.
No.
Well, there was one year that we switched it to the Decoy.
Well, that was because the Baron was under construction.
A lot of the same memories you guys have. I like the fact that there's during the All Tobacco Days weekend, you have these like little get-togethers everywhere. It seems. Remember, kind of like when you used to come to La Crosse for Oktoberfest. There was always parties at somebody else's house. It's kind of the same way with Tobacco Days, I find. People are having little get-togethers and little parties, prepping to go to the park.
It's a big reunion.
Yeah. So I like kind of making my rounds at that, even if they're like small cookouts. I've gone to Bill Horn's a couple years in a row, had beers there before I go to the park. Like you said, I used to have a party at my parents' place in County M when I was in college, and we would do that before the park. So I like that. Definitely the Sounds of Edgerton last year was definitely a highlight. So I'm really looking forward to that this year. I like all the routine stuff as well. I like having coffee with Quinn on Friday morning and then going rummage sailing. Just little stuff like that.
Rummage sailing is fun.
Dumb rummage sales.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's some of the best stuff.
I like that.
The fun run.
Yeah. I mean, I've done the fun run for many years, so I'll do it again this year.
We used to go up to Felstead.
Again, the parade just is is great.
It's got a good feel to it.
Yeah, I always remember the parade. And I
come to the Tatters on Albion Street. You're more than welcome.
Absolutely.
We got food, cheesy potatoes, and
I'm looking for a place to watch the parade.
Yeah, come on over. Bring Eli.
I will.
I kind of go back and forth between Burroughs and Tatters.
Burroughs is like prime time.
Yeah, that's your corner. It's your hot corner.
It is. Well, that's hot.
And it sucks that, Nick's isn't available anymore because Swent's always brought the brandy slush. Yep. And I always got a brandy slush every year.
And Yoss brings that concoction that he makes up. It's basically just, fire water and lemonade.
Just what you need on Sunday morning.
Yeah, this will get you in gear. But we talked to the guy that owns Nick's old house now, and he was cool with it last year, just having people set up tents.
It's not the same.
It really isn't. It really
change. The more we keep talking, the more memories just keep
How many times have they changed the parade route, too? Because I know they used to go down Rollins Street, because we used to go over by my grandma's house on Bentley Place, and that's where I remember the first tobacco days.
Well, when I was a little kid, it went down West Fulton.
Really?
Because my grandma lived on West Fulton, and we watched the parade there. So it must have, I don't know. It went down West Fulton one time.
Maybe it went down Albion and then West Fulton out to the park.
It could have done that, but I can't imagine avoiding the downtown.
I'm pretty sure it's like that new road from the high school, and they come up Stoughton Road.
I think the couple years I actually
down
did
to
the
Rollin
when I was in the Lions Club.
Down Albion.
Speaking of memories, when I was in the Lions Club, we saw the parade unit with the motorcycles and the 54 Packard that burned up in Bjorn's garage.
Yeah.
But I had to wear that damn Lions Club costume, and it was 96 degrees out, and I think I was kind of alluding to these stories a little bit with our Lions Club episode, but like I said, I couldn't drive those motorbikes. I'd just stand up straight up. I don't know if I wasn't coordinated enough or whatever, but ended up walking the parade. It was fucking hot. It was like 97 degrees out, plus that stupid costume on. And I'm walking and walking and walking, and I'm like just dying. But all the kids want a picture, and you got Timmy Hoof and Darren Webb sitting out there like, oh, look, there goes Thompson. How the hell you know it's me? Right? That's the way you walk.
Staggering.
Just the parade. God, walking the parades.
The parade route is not... people have opinions about that too. It's plenty long. People think it's short.
It's just fine.
It's just fine because it's not that packed at it.
Right.
Have you guys ever been to the 4th of July parades in Whitewater or Milton?
Milton's is ridiculous.
It's huge and thick of the crowd, and Edgerton's isn't that way. So it doesn't need to be any longer than it is.
No, I think it's perfect. It's enough time to get there.
Yeah.
You socialize with people, you have a beer, you wait for the parade, you see the parade, and then it's not packed
I'm ready
enough.
for the end most of the time.
Or just walking it, though. Like if you're going by houses with no one in the yard. It's
all the
good.
different.
It's planned perfectly because then you go right out to the park and get to the Tiger game as soon as that thing's done.
It's good. It goes through the downtown.
Yep.
Well, the Tigers are playing at racetrack this year.
Yeah, they've been doing it for the last couple of years.
They have.
Yeah. Right.
It is.
Do you know if they're still
the third annual
Wally
Classic?
Oh, right.
Okay.
Which is
that one again.
I think they play Evansville again this year, and I think that's a revenge game because
he should be the fucking Tobacco Days
bastards.
That was bad.
It was
terrible.
Backer.
Well, whoever, the king or whatever the what's a different word or
Duke.
I guess I wasn't thinking royalty. I was ambassador or whatever.
Yeah, I mean he's done a lot.
Yeah,
I mean I think he was one of the reasons we got the Waliosa thing down there, and it's a great idea. Mm-hmm. It's a great idea. Anything else? Tobacco Days history you guys can think of?
There's a ton, I'm sure.
There's tons. We'll go on for days.
Well, it's the 47th, and I really want to see it get to 50.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And I was saying to Luke, it's just, I feel like it's poised for a comeback because, people call this place Edgertucky, with tongue in cheek. It's just cool enough, or retro and redneck. The whole idea of a Tobacco Days.
I like the
It's just
retro
retro and redneck enough that it ought to catch fire again.
Yeah.
I just think it's due for another resurgence. And that's how I kind of felt like in the period of time we were talking about, that it was just, I was just lucky to be there when it was kind of like riding another wave.
Yeah.
Like it was just kind of on the comeback trail for a while and did really well. And
you were there
certainly want to help that again.
Some pretty pinnacle years.
Yeah.
You
It was
were there
fun.
for all that.
So I remember that name of that band, Cashbox Kings. Was that a Tobacco Days band?
They have been.
Okay, so yeah, that's the one my dad bought the CD for.
Gotcha.
Cashbox Kings. I don't know how I pulled that out of my ass, but
It doesn't matter. It's on
Cashbox
record.
Kings. I'm gonna go look them up.
Cashbox
I'm gonna go
Kings.
look them up after this. Cashbox Kings.
Well, that was fun.
It was. We got to thank Chad.
Yeah.
Chad, thank you for all the work you do putting into
Thank you.
this.
Yep.
Thank you to Michael and the Country Club for hosting us
Absolutely.
tonight.
Thank you to Sam, Heather, and Raquel. Thank you, Casey.
Thanks.
Dads.
It was fun.
We'll see you all Tobacco Days. When's our next episode? We have figured
We
that
haven't
out
set
yet?
it up yet. We'll figure
It's
that
going
out
to be in
Friday
August,
night.
though.
It's going to be August.
Yeah, I'm
it's going to be
gonna
Chili
be,
Mania, probably.
Chili Mania theme.
Guest hosting here.
Maybe.
'cause,
We'll see how that
Eric,
goes.
well, depending on if Eric can.
You might as well be a guest host anyway. We'll do a threesome if nothing
Well, we
else.
just do that.
Well, we'll see.
Are you not going to be around?
Well, football starts in August.
Oh,
so
okay.
We'll,
Okay,
just
we'll
kinda see
figure
how-
it out.
We'll figure it out.
But yeah, it's going to be a Chili Mania episode, so I have a ton of questions for that. And we're going to talk to Wrights.
Yeah.
I think he's already kind of agreed to come on.
Has he?
I think so.
Perfect.
So look forward to that episode. Like I said, we don't have a time and date yet, but we'll figure it out. But, thanks for listening.
Yeah. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers. To Tobacco Days.
Absolutely.
T-Days.
My home is where tobacco grows, Nick cornrows and Olo grows. That's where I'll be tonight. In that old tobacco town, tobacco town, tobacco town. Think I'll head on down to Tobacco Town.